Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by, y'all. It is a lovely day here in the Northland. We are headed oot and a boot, and you might notice we're going this way instead of that way. And I'll tell you all about why as soon as you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. So first, before we get into all that, I'd like to wish you a happy World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, World Down Syndrome Day. It's Crazy Sock Day. It's the day that you wear crazy socks to show how much you love your friends with Down syndrome. I gotta tell y'all a story. So I have a little buddy in one of my classes who has some special needs. And so he came into class. Well, so hang on, let me back up. So a while ago, like last school year, we were having class and he'll just talk out in class, which whatever, it's fine. And he started skip counting and he wouldn't stop. So he was skip counting by twos and he kept going 2, 4, 6, 8. So then I did the 2, 4, 6, 8 who do we appreciate cheer and did his name. So from that day forward, every day in class we have to do the 2, 4, 6, 8 cheer. We call it I'm not going to say it, we'll call him Fred. We call it the Fred cheer. And so every day in class we have to do the Fred cheer. Well, recently, it's obviously an online class. Do y'all know that? Y'all know I teach online, right? It's an online class. And he won't now, recently, over the past, month or so, he won't come into class until we do the cheer. So he'll log in and I can see that he's there and his camera's on and his mic is on, but he won't, or I can see that they're there, but his camera is off and his mic is muted and he won't come into class until we cheer him in. So anyway, cheered him in, he came in, everything was fine. And then he started, I looked away and looked back and he had put his head down. And I was like, what is going on? And I saw his mom there and I was like, oh, hey mom. And she usually doesn't come into class, she's there nearby, but she doesn't engage in class really often ever. And so she was in class and I was like, hey mom, what's up? And sorry, go ahead. And she had stepped out and came back in and he was pouting and I was like, what's wrong with you? What is going on? Well, the other student came in, so we were joking and cheering and got him laughing. Well, then mom came in and was putting socks on him. And I was like, oh buddy, you putting your socks on? And mom said it's Crazy Sock Day. And I was like, of course it is. It's World Down Syndrome. And I don't know if it's awareness or appreciation or what day. So we had to show our crazy socks. So I'm sitting at a computer desk and had to hike my feet up and these boys are forever putting their feet up in my classroom and it drives me, but they do it only because it drives me bananas. So then I act like it drives me a little more bananas so that they think that's being naughty, which I think is so funny that these little kids are so good and so sweet and so well behaved that they think that putting their foot up in the camera view. Now, mind you, we're not in a classroom. They're not taking off their shoes and exposing their feet in my presence in my actual classroom, because that would be an issue. But yeah, so anyway, we just laughed because I am always get your feet up. Why are there feet in my classroom? And so I had to show my crazy socks today for Crazy Sock Day for World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. So anyway, we're 10 miles into this trip and I've told you nothing other than happy World Down Syndrome Awareness Day, friends. So we are headed up the hill instead of down the hill because, for one thing, I have to go and drop this off at the UPS. And I need to, of course, go and drop some bags off, and which we could do down the hill, but since I have to go to the UPS, I figure I may as well do bags up the hill too. So we're going a whole different way, y'all. We're going all new places. I know, so excited. Still no PT because, we're on a year-long break. And y'all, miracle of miracles, I've been doing, y'all saw last week I was doing my kettlebells. I've been doing my kettlebells and I have not egregiously hurt myself, which, that's a little bit amazing that I haven't had a major setback from over kettlebelling. Now, I've had I wouldn't even call it a setback. I've had a little thing, and it is not, y'all, stop. Calm your jets. It is not from my monkey kettlebell. Get off my monkey. It's, so the monkey is 36 pounds and I deadlift the monkey. Well, I think, so a couple of days ago, my lower back was I don't know what to say other than it was just aching, but it was like, it's the left side of my back that's my hip that's jacked up, and like my whole lower back was hurting. And I'm like, great, now I've gone and like broke my whole self. And it was just aching. And so I think what I did was, well, I know that I was doing overhead, one arm, like single arm overhead presses with a 20-pound kettlebell. And I think like right-handed, it was fine. But left-handed, I super duper struggled to like get my last couple reps in. So I was like, maybe I don't do that again for maybe a little minute. So I'm going to stop doing that. Well, I'm going to go down to a 15-pound kettlebell doing those. So, but that's not, y'all, we're not losing. We're not losing our competition to ourselves. I know that's crazy. I know it's insane. But anyway, having to go, and we've talked about this, having to adjust, and that's not even a goal, right? Like I don't have this like lift 20-pound kettlebells over your head goal. But even if I did, having to adjust your goals to continue with your forward momentum, that's not losing, y'all. I know y'all are like, she is crazy. Like she is legit nuts. Y'all, that is not crazy. This is crazy. So, and many of y'all know this story, but I have actual competitions going on, but they're all just made up competitions in my head. Like on the Peloton app, you can have friends. Like Tiffany on here is a friend of mine on the Peloton app, and we follow each other and we can high five each other. And so you can follow your friends, and Tiffany, I think it's Tiffany, right? I don't judge you, but you can follow your friends and follow your friends' activity on the app and see what they're doing. And if you're in the same competition, you can see, like I know, what is it? Comparison is the death of something. But y'all, I compare my progress with my friends on the app. So, and I'm gonna show you right here, there is one guy. I don't know that I've like debated whether or not I should show his name on here, but it's just his name. Like it doesn't even show where he's from. So like if you're friends with him on Peloton, which I'm not saying like everybody go stalk this guy, but like if you're friends with him on Peloton, you can see like if he shows where he's from or whatever. But on here, like I will show you it here. All you can see is his name and the number of miles he's ridden this month. So that is one of the ways that I motivate myself, is that I have this imaginary competition in my head with my friends on the app. And I mean, I have to be winning, which I am now. You can see I'm winning, but I have seen, so Longhorn David and then Pello Sooner is the next one down. And y'all, I have seen Longhorn David for sure, Pello Sooner too, but Longhorn David for sure, I have seen crack off 50 miles in a day. And I mean, I can push and do 30 miles in a day, but that's 2 hours of like legit riding. So I have to make sure that I stay like a significant amount ahead of him, or if he like cracks off a couple of good days, he's gonna beat me. So I know I'm crazy. I told you that like reducing the weight I'm lifting, not like admitting defeat, that's not crazy. This is crazy because I try to get to where I'm 100 miles ahead of him, so that if he has a couple of good days, I can still be competitive, because I'm a female of a certain age, and I don't know how old he is, but I think I just ran a stop sign. I don't know how old he is, but y'all, he can crack off some miles. So anyway, that's crazy. Why are we even talking about this? Who brought this up? Let's get on to talking about something. You know what? Let me stop driving, because I am running stop signs. There's a shoe store right there that I've never been into. Let me park. This is a whole different parking lot. We're going to park in and talk. Watch the intern drive by, y'all. That would be crazy, because we are literally on the opposite side of town from where he usually stalks us. So anyway, what I wanted to talk to y'all about was, and I don't want to talk for very long because I need to run and drop off these bags and then go to the UPS and then go home. Because, did I even finish my kettlebell conversation? I don't think I did. So I need to lay off kettlebells for a couple of days. So and I feel like if I tell y'all this, I'll actually do it. Because otherwise, I would get home and like see my monkey face kettlebell and be like, oh, I'll just do a little quickie. So instead of kettlebells today, I think I'm going to do a core workout. I'm going to do something other than kettlebells. I'm going to take y'all with me so that y'all can keep me honest. So I need to do this running about, and then where I'm dropping the bags off is over there, which is why I'm waving about like y'all know what I'm talking about. But over there is the grocery store. So I'm going to go over there and drop off bags and then go to the UPS and then go home, do a workout, and then we'll cook some stuff. But let's talk about, folks have asked me about planning meals. Like, how do you even, like, where do you even start? How do you know, like, what to put together, how to put a meal together? And my answer to that is, as with, what is the thing? How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Same thing. You just start. You just jump in and start doing stuff. And so that's what I want to talk about is how do you start? First of all, analysis to paralysis is the absolute death of progress. And y'all, I know that's not really like an idiom, but if you think about it, like if you sit and like worry yourself to death, like trying to get to like a better and better and better idea, you're never going to do anything. So just start doing it and then make it better as you go along. And you know that this is my actual idiom is progress, not perfection. I stole that from Emma Lovewell on Peloton, but it's so true. Like, don't wait until you can do something perfectly. Make progress towards perfection until you get to where you want to be. And to me, that's the whole thing. So here's my thought is, I try to start my meals or my snacks or whatever it is around a 0 point something. So I try to have an idea of, and preferably a 0 point protein. Y'all, I got to put my leg up. Sorry. A 0 point. Y'all want to see my crazy socks? Hang on. I don't know if I can get them both in the shot at the same time. There we go. Crazy sock day. All right. Sorry. I know like half of y'all just were like, oh my goodness, and logged off. I apologize. Anyway, so I try to start with a 0 point protein and work my way out from there. And I mean, we've talked about these until we're blue in the face, right? We know all of the chicken and turkey and, you know, ground stuff and lean pork and all of those things. So let's talk about, and I know you're like, now that's too many ideas. All right, so let's pick just a few things and talk about what we can do with them. So let's start with breakfast. And we've talked about all of these things before. None of this is new. So let's just sort of like get our minds right. Let's work on some harm reduction, right? And just think about, I don't know what is going on with my phone, but somebody is blowing me up. Let's think about making better choices with breakfast. So what kind of things can you do at breakfast? Let's start with eggs. The price of eggs is coming down. They're still expensive, but they're coming down. And I think, the internet and I talked about this the other day. I think, for me anyway, even at the current price of eggs, which again is coming down, I think eggs are still a good option for a quick, easy to prepare, easy to like keep around the house, lean protein. So for breakfast, any old kind of eggs. Boil you some eggs and just eat you some boiled eggs. Scrambled eggs, you can do, I don't think we've done one of these. You can do a breakfast casserole where you do eggs with like some kind of meat, like let's say eggs with ground turkey or turkey sausage, vegetables like onions, peppers, broccoli. You can even do shredded potatoes in it now because y'all, those are 0 points. So even if you use, did I say I was going to check and see what turkey sausage is now, because it used to be pointy because it wasn't that super lean turkey, but I wonder if it's fewer points now because more turkey is 0 points. Like it's not just the 99% lean ground turkey that's 0 points. But anyway, even if it's a little bit of points, everything else is 0 points. So make you a breakfast casserole, make one of those like the breakfast burrito bowl kind of things with shredded potatoes in the bottom, onions and peppers, egg in that, and then some kind of meat. Again, your ground turkey, whatever you have left over from the night before, some grilled chicken. Of course, you can do broccoli. You can do squash. Remember, I did that. Was it butternut squash? I just buy it frozen now and keep it in the freezer. Keep it in the freezer. I don't know why I say that. Why I feel a need to say that my frozen stuff is in the freezer. But anyway, I just buy it frozen and keep it on hand. But you can do those burrito bowls either with potatoes as your base and put some squash in it, or do squash as your base. We've done that before too, and it is so, so good. So any of those are a great option with eggs and whatever your meat is as your protein sources. So those would be great for breakfast. Y'all know scrambled eggs and grits are a go-to for me. Grits are going to have some points, but your eggs don't, and you can do toast with that, and that is a huge filling breakfast. All right, let's talk about lunch. I think a lot of people try to eat like, what is it? You eat like a king for breakfast, a prince for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. Is that really a thing? Anyway, I think I do. No, I do. I guess I do eat a really big breakfast. Anyway, so biggish lunch. Do, again, same thing. Try to focus around a 0-point protein. And y'all know, often mine is just a whole can of chicken in a can. Drain that. And y'all, I've been eating a avocado pretty much every day. One, because I like them, and two, to get my good fats up because I was eating 0 fat. So I do a can of chicken with an avocado, mix that up, and then just spring mix with, I take my chopper and chop up a tomato, some cucumber, some celery. Use my low-fat buttermilk dressing, my homemade dressing. Use light Hidden Valley Ranch dressing, and I think that's it. So you can do a couple of boiled eggs with that. If you're, y'all, that can of chicken, the chicken in a can, I use the big cans. That's very filling, but I'm not judging nobody because I eat a huge breakfast, like around when I work out. So I eat a huge breakfast, I eat a big old lunch. But if that, like chicken in a can and the greens isn't filling enough for you, especially like if you're at work. So then if you get hungry like a few hours later and you don't have the option of eating again, eat you some more lunch. Add you some boiled eggs to it, more 0 points. Maybe do some, y'all know I like to add Sara Lee Delightful bread because that's 1 point per slice. Just toast that up and I'll add that toast to anything. I ain't scared of toast. So that chicken in a can is a great 0 point, like focal point, I guess, for a meal. You can do tuna. You can do like that same thing, all that same salad stuff with tuna in a can. You can do shrimps. What about the shrimps? Any kind of meat you had left over from, well, most kind of meats you have left over from the night before. Like if you had chicken, shrimp, if you meatballs, y'all, I will throw meatballs in many, many things, which is part of why I make my meatballs without a whole lot of flavor to them, because then you can make them into anything. But any of that can be the protein for your salad. Also, think about something like a burrito bowl. Now, lots of folks will do a burrito bowl with cauliflower rice as their base. Y'all know I can't do cauliflower rice. I think it's because rice is sacrosanct to me. So like there's a place in my brain that rice goes, like white rice goes and nothing else goes there. So, but if you can do cauliflower rice and you like it, make you a burrito bowl with cauliflower rice, and then whatever your meat is, like ground turkey, make you some ground beef, make you some taco, like ground beef with taco seasoning. Ground beef is 0 points now, y'all. So, I mean, you can't do like 80%. That's 20% fat. Y'all don't do that. That's disgusting. But I know that was super judgy. Sorry. But maybe don't do that. Do you some lean ground beef. Do grilled chicken again. Many kinds of meat that you have left over from dinner the night before, throw that in your burrito bowl. Throw you in some beans, if you do tomato and lettuce on top of it, really good. And then use salsa or like some kind of taco sauce for your sauce. Mix it up, scrump delicious, filling and low points. Also, y'all, just sort of think outside of the box with the leftovers, right? Like your leftovers from the night before, whatever meat you had, if it was some kind of grilled meat, throw that together with some veggies or a salad, eat that for your lunch. Just think in terms of harm reduction. And I need to be better about this, about thinking like smoothies, for instance. I am awful for talking about how bad a smoothie is for you, and there are things you have to be careful about with the smoothie, and I will always say that. But if a smoothie is better than whatever else you're going to get, like if your option is go to the, whatever the smoothie shack is, there are cars. Look, y'all check this out. I have no idea why this is so, but you see the cars. Oh, you can't see it. Hang on. You see the cars lined up along the street up there? Like we're in a parking lot that's mostly empty. And there are cars parked all along the curb. Oh no, I broke my thing. All right, stop. There are cars parked all along the road, and I don't know why. Now I want to know what stores over there that folks are all parked all along the road to go into. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, so if your option is to go get like a sub sandwich or get you a smoothie, the smoothie might be the better option. Or if your option is to go and get like a burger and fries or a smoothie, the smoothie might be the better option. So remember harm reduction. And I need to be better about that, about thinking in terms of, though something might not be like straight up healthy on its face, it might be better than it might be a good alternative. Let's just go with that. So anyway, that's lunch. Let's talk about dinner. To me, dinner is the easiest option, but I guess that's only like if you're home to make dinner, right? Like if you work the dinner shift or whatever, maybe it's not. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about dinner. And I know we've worn out dinners, right? We've made dinners, we've talked about dinners, we've done dinners together. So let's talk about some things that we don't always necessarily think about for dinners, like potatoes. And again, I need to be better about this. I don't really think about making potatoes for anything because they only just became 0 points, but a big old baked potato is a fabulous base for your dish to make something on. So bake you a big old potato, put some meat on it, like some kind of, I don't know, do ground turkey, ground beef. You can do, how about this? If you have leftover like taco meat, like say you had tacos last night, leftover taco meat, put that on a baked potato, put some lettuce and tomato and cheese and some salsa on top, or like taco sauce of some sort. That sounds really delicious. Or any kind of thing. Like you could do, all right, let's think about some potato things. All of these are baked potato on the bottom. You could do rotisserie chicken with maybe some broccoli and some cheese on top. And y'all, I would do fat-free cheese, but even if you want some actual cheese in your cheese, potato 0 points, chicken 0 points, broccoli 0 points, put you some points in that cheese. It's okay. So that would be a really delicious meal. How about, again, potato with anything? What about baked potato with chili? I don't know. Would that be good? That might be good. I think it would definitely be good with a chicken, like with a white chili, a chicken chili. I think it would be good with the regular like chili as well. I think that'd be very good. So think about things you can eat on a baked potato. And I'm gonna get out of here in a minute because the wind is picking up. Did I tell y'all? It's not, well, I mean, it's cold now, but it's not like, it's happy first day of spring, or second day of spring, by the way. We're gonna get, or we might get like 6 inches of snow over the weekend. I know, right? Because it's Minnesota and it's springtime. So that's how we roll. So yeah, it's starting to get windy. It's gonna be like our low today is 14 degrees and that's tonight. So it's finna get cold. So let me do this and go home before it gets, not like it's gonna get cold in the next 20 minutes, but it's not getting any warmer. So dinners, think about things like, and we make these all the time, soups or stews, like those 0 point soups that we make. Think about that for dinner, because remember, we're eating a big breakfast, big lunch, smaller dinner. I think that's a great option. And again, if you do 0 points, I would do, and I often do, a 0 point soup or like some kind of zero. And stews are actually easy to make 0 points now too because of the potatoes being 0 points. But do you a 0 point something big and warm and mushy in a bowl, and then do a couple of pieces of that Sara Lee delightful toast. But y'all, even if you make some, make some judicious choices with your cornbread. But even if you make you some cornbread or a muffin or something, even if it's a few more points, if your big old bowl of food is 0 points, eat just some points in your cornbread or in your muffin. It's okay. It's all going to be all right. So I think those are all my ideas. Let me go drop off. Did I show y'all my bag of bags? I left it in the big bag, but sorry, it's very rattly. It's like a normal human-sized bag of bags. I know, I've gotten so much better. Remember the first time we did it, this whole thing was stuffed? I know. So let me go drop those off. I got to run to the UPS and drop off my return. And then I will see y'all at the house. I'm going to do a workout, and then we'll get in the kitchen and make some. We're going to make something we'll make something 0 points. So I will see y'all back at the house, and we'll get something going.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right, and see life do what you want. So give me all the scars, I'm a human being. Cover them with tattoos so you can't see. Knew it from the start, you had problems with me and the things I could be, I just wish I had seen. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you could never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own.
All right, y'all. I did my workout. Let's make some stuff. And did y'all see? I was out in the garage. My kettlebells were out there, and I didn't sling nary a one kettlebell. I wanted to, but I didn't do it. Did I tell y'all? I might not have told y'all. We got evicted. Not like real life evicted. We're all good. But me and y'all got evicted from the house. The intern was like, so why is it that you're working out in the middle of the living room when you have all of that space out in your she cave in the garage? And I was like, well, what had happened was he was not hearing none of it. So we got kicked out into the garage to work out by the Peloton, which in all honesty, it's where we should have been all along. But I think what happened was back when it was like cold, like really, really cold one time, I think I came in the house and worked out inside because it was so cold in the garage, and the bay doors, obviously there's like a little gap underneath. So, like a tiny, tiny gap, but when the wind's blowing and it's like negative 40 degrees, that's a lot. So I whined and was like, I can't work out there. I got to work out in the house. So I was working out in the living room, and then I just never, and I think that was like not this winter, but last winter, because now is this winter. And we've been in here for a while. So anyway, yeah. I should say banished, not evicted, because evicted sounds awful. We got banished to the garage. So yeah, we're working out back outside again. So anyway, aside from all that, let's talk about what we're going to make. Now, we're not going to do a haul, but let me just show you what I got. So I was kind of at odds on this, on whether or not to make this, because we've made it before, and I was like, ugh, but it's not fancy, and nobody's going to want to watch you make that. But y'all don't want to see fancy stuff. You want to see stuff that's like real life, that you can throw together in a hurry, feed your family, and still stay healthy and stay within your points limit. So this ain't fancy, but I'm going to do two things. One, I'm probably not even going to show you, because all I'm going to do is take some hamburger, mush it up in a bowl, season it, and make either some hamburger patties or just some sliders, and then stick them in the air fryer and cook those. And then the intern, here's why I like to do that, because then the intern can make those into like sliders or like hamburgers or whatever on a bun. And I can either put it on a bun, or, because I know y'all are like, Danielle, we know your schedule, for God's sake, don't do it again. I'm gonna do it again. I work early in the morning, so I go to bed like with the freaking chickens early at night. So I don't like to eat a big meal at night. So while the intern can eat like with these sliders, he can eat like a slider on a bun with some French fries from the air fryer, or like tater tots from the air fryer or something. Y'all, if I ate all that, I would be up till dang midnight and then get 2 hours sleep before I had to get up for work. So what I will do is I'll make the sliders, make the little hamburgers, and then he can make them like on a bun or however he wants them. And then I'll take mine and probably just put them on like some lettuce and tomato, maybe with some dill pickle relish. And y'all don't judge me. This sounds gross, but try it one time. Try it one time. And if you don't like it, then, I'm not going to send you 50 cents for the egg, but just don't do it again. But what I'll do is, maybe not with the sliders, but maybe with the sliders too, but definitely with a hamburger, do like, whatever on the bottom, hamburger, and then do an egg on it, because that's more protein, it's more filling, and it kind of takes the place of that bun. So I do that often. So anyway, I'll mush up the hamburger, season it, I know everybody knows how to make hamburgers, make some hamburgers, boring, done. And I work early on the weekends, like Saturday morning. I won't look until it's time to go to bed and set my alarm Friday night, because I don't want to go ahead and like start thinking about what time I have to get up, because y'all, I'll start being tired now for tomorrow, just thinking about what time I have to get up tomorrow. So I'm not going to look yet, but I either have to be up to work at 2 or be up to work at 3. So either way, that's early. And then I'll work all day. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, I can't even think about cooking food. So I'll have those sliders in the fridge. We can just heat those up. And then as early as Saturday is, Sunday's going to be even earlier. So same. So I'll cook ahead a couple of things. So I'll have those sliders, and then I'm going to make some beef and broccoli. And y'all, have we ever actually I think usually I've already chopped this up by the time we talk about it, but this is the meat that I buy from my beef and broccoli. And usually I get just a bottom round that's thinly sliced. And since Weight Watchers has gone to 0 points on a bunch of beefs, I'm going to call this 0 points. If it's not, do not call me out in the comments, because then we will no longer be friends. If it's not 0 points and you want to count points for yourself, you go on and do you. I'm calling it 0 points. So so you can see, I know everybody knows how this already is, but it's already sliced that away. So I'm going to take it and slice it thinly this way without slicing off my fingers. So I'm going to slice it up. And then this is going to be rattly. I'm already sorry. I just buy the cheapy Walmart broccoli florets, and I'm going to throw these in a bowl and nuke them so that they're mostly thawed, but probably not quite all the way thawed. So I'm going to slice up my meat, I'm going to thaw my broccoli, and I'm going to mix up my sauce that's going to go on my meat, but I'll tell you about that when we get over there, all right? So let me get these things done, and then of course we're going to the stove because we're going to cook. So let me get this prepped, and I'll meet you at the stove, and we'll put this stuff together. All right, y'all, this is seriously embarrassingly easy. So I got my big old pot out, and I'm going to throw in just a little bit of olive oil. don't know if we even need the olive oil, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Crank her on. And then, so I sliced up my meat thin. And I'm gonna just toss it in. No seasoning, no nothing. Although I guess maybe I could have put some salt and pepper. I did not. And I'm gonna spread it out just a little. I was seriously thinking I needed to make this fancier, but yeah, there's no need to be fancy just to be fancy. All right, so I'm gonna let that cook down a little bit. While that's doing that, let me tell you, I made my sauce. Excuse the boarding house reach. I went ahead and mixed up my sauce. Now this is 1/4 cup of water, 1/4 cup of soy sauce with a tablespoon of cornstarch in it. And I do y'all's mamas do this? This is my mama's old trick of, I keep a jar around to shake my cornstarch in so it doesn't lump up. So 1/4 cup of water, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, tablespoon of cornstarch, shake it up, tablespoon of sesame seed oil. And I don't know if I'm supposed to like cook in the sesame seed oil, but I like it in here. So I throw it in, shake it up, and then I use those tubes of minced garlic and minced ginger, and it's supposed to be a clove of garlic and a tablespoon of ginger. So I do like a good solid squeeze of each one and just shake it up. So now that's ready to go. And I know, does a tablespoon of cornstarch sound like a lot? I did one of these recipes one time, and I think it was cornstarch and something else that like you put in and let it boil, and y'all, it turned to glue. But this 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with the half a cup of liquid is perfect. So I got my meat just started, and now, like I said, I nuked a big old bowl of broccoli. And you can see it's still half frosty, but I'm gonna throw it in like that. And let those cook together a bit. And I want it to get to where it's almost done so that, sorry, y'all, my hips bother me a little, so I'm like being all dodgy over here. I want this to get to where it's almost done before I throw the sauce in, because of course once the sauce hits the heat and thickens up, that's it. Like I don't want to turn it to paste, and I don't want that like burned cornstarch taste. So that's why I only let my meat cook about halfway and then throw in my broccoli. And I'm gonna tell you what, if it was just me, I'd probably season this with 72 other things, but 100% guaranteed the internal eat this, but only if I don't over season it. Speaking of which, let me tell y'all, I need to stop telling stories on him, because he doesn't watch my videos, but his people do. And they're gonna tell him that I'm talking about him, but y'all, the intern is learning to cook. I know. So this weekend, let me tell you what he learned. He learned that a teaspoon and a tablespoon are not the same. And he learned it in an unfortunate and very garlicky way. But you know what? Everybody has to learn sometime, right? So he was making a lasagna, what is it? A ricotta cheese-less lasagna, which we are deep in debate over that not being lasagna, because y'all, that is not lasagna, but whatever. So he was making that, and here, I'm going to go ahead and throw in my sauce. He was making that, and it called for 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. And I'm not allowed to help him in the kitchen because he claims I micromanage, which probably is not untrue. So I was just, kind of like floating about the periphery of the thing. And I was actually right over there. I was throwing something in the recycling, and he was standing right here cooking his sauce. Anyway, don't get me started. But, and I saw him sprinkle what looked like a lot of something that looked like maybe garlic salt, onion salt, something in the thing. And I was thinking, that is an awful lot of that. But he also had asked me earlier if we had any ground, well, he said powdered, Parmesan cheese. I think he meant that like Parmesan cheese in the green can, which I had shredded Parmesan, but so I was like, well, maybe they have you put Parmesan cheese in the thing. I don't know. I wasn't going to look. I wasn't going to ask. Well, then later he asked me, he's like, is a teaspoon and a tablespoon different? I said, yep. And I wasn't ugly. I just said, yeah, babe, a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. And he's like, oh. So then later, all right, this is done. So I'm going to kill it because I don't want to overcook the meat or the sauce. And that's it, y'all. Jobbed. So what you see in the pot right here is 0 points. So I'm going to make white rice, and I will eat this with like half a cup of white rice, but you can do any one of a number of things. Look how much broccoli is in here. I could, if it was just me, like if I wasn't feeding the intern off of this, I would just eat more broccoli and maybe not even have, well, no, I would still have rice. Y'all know me, I will still have rice with anything. But you can do just more broccoli and not have the rice. You can do a bunch of things. You can do more veg on the side and just do like this whole thing as your main course and then do veg or something on the side. Or you can do this and maybe do a couple of slices of like Sara Lee Delightful bread or something if you don't want the rice. I mean, who wouldn't want rice? But y'all know what I'm saying. So if you're having a day and you don't want some rice, you can just do that. So there's lots of things that you can do with this as your, like your main, and then that is your side. And y'all, this is 0 points. So let me finish telling you my story and then I'm out. Where was I? So yeah, so the intern was like, oh, okay. So then I went and looked at the recipe and I was like, this says 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. You think maybe you put in 2 tablespoons? Because he had taken a bite of it and he's like, this is so garlicky, which I tried it. And y'all, I didn't notice that it was all that garlicky, but like I tell you all the time, he's a little sensitive to like spices and flavors, which I am not. But yeah, so it turns out he put in 2 tablespoons of garlic powder in his little thing of sauce where it should have been 2 teaspoons. But you live and learn, right? I think he's going to try to make it again this weekend, and it's still going to be lasagna with no ricotta cheese. So ain't no coming back from that. But I think at least now he knows that a teaspoon is 1/3 of a tablespoon. So at least we got that going for us. And y'all, that is it. That was an entire story about absolutely nothing. So let us know in the comments, what kind of 0 point, I'm about to fall off my own feet. Did y'all see that? What kind of 0 point dishes do you like to have as sort of the main part of your meal and build onto to have a low point, nutritious meal? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.